I'm gonna do a quick trade recap of how I was able to catch the low a day long in this market, and I made a really stupid mistake, so I'm gonna break down everything as well. But without further ado, let's get into it. So I'll start with my pre-market plan here. So the main thing I was watching was the weekly chart, because if you look at the weekly chart with like no indicators, no drawings or anything, where the fuck is it? If you look at the weekly chart, you'll see, if I enlarge this here, that we have not breached a prior week low since April something. You can see this is a weekly chart. Each low has been higher, each low has been higher, each low has been higher, each low has been higher. So if you just think about that, there's a high probability that the buyers will try and defend last week's low because there are stops under there. They don't want it to breach under. It's a good area also to buy that dip with good risk to reward. So buyers tend to be more active there. So I was basically watching that swing low. Bulls want to do their best to defend the 7.5s and keep this higher low pattern intact, and then bears want to do their best to step in and put an end to this streak that they've had. So that was my main thesis into this. That was, yeah, like I said, that was my main thesis. I also had some equity supporting it. I always use equities to give me a little more edge. Like I had a demand imbalance here on Microsoft at 425.65s, which was, you'll actually see how nicely this held. If I pull up Microsoft, you'll see, look, below it supported the thesis. Look at that, low a day. And I was watching a few other stuff as well. But like I said, mainly the 7.5s. There's also a demand imbalance down there, which formed here, which bounced the market here. So I was basically watching that. I want to see buyers defend that area. Fast forward. Scenario number one, if we trade into this 8875 and then buyers defend it, defending Thursday's low, which is last week's low, I want to look for ways to play long. So moving forward, we'll see here, market ends up opening up right here, and I see buying activity right off the opening gate. So you can see right here, as the market opens, you see some bids getting filled. You see an aggressive seller hit the bid, market moves up, and at 9:31 I want to see a pullback into this to play the market long. We dipped down into it. I didn't take this long because I don't like trading so close to the open, because most of my losses usually come from like jumping the gun at the open, and then I miss a really good entry because I could have just waited and then took an even better entry. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta bleep that out. So I didn't take that one. So I just waited. And then 9:35, look at this. We break the low a day here. And look at this. Look at these bids sitting here, right, at 80.5. If you zoomed out, there was like a weird 4-tick bid sitting here, and there's aggressive selling into it. So I'm seeing a lot of selling hitting the bid at this low. Market's unable to move lower. And if I show you guys the depth of market, you're going to see the same thing, just visually a little bit different. So I'm going to show you guys the depth of market here for the S&P. Give me 1 second. All right. So there's tons of selling hitting the bid into the 80s, and there's bids getting filled here. So I said I'm seeing some buying here. I'm long. I'm targeting this 9.2, and my stop is this 5.278, which is under here, giving this some room. And I have to give this some room to develop. So I saw bids, aka buyers, getting filled, aggressive sellers hitting the bids, and then market moves up, and I take the market long. And what I generally mean by what I saw down there was clear absorption. So absorption is basically where, for example, there's tons of sellers hitting the bid, but the market's not moving lower because there's a buyer on the other side of that absorbing all those sell orders. So there's a buyer literally absorbing it on the other side. That's literally what happened. So look, this column right here is the volume by delta. Look at this. This is at the low of day. This is very suspicious. Anyone can understand this is suspicious. Why did the market not move lower there? Like, I was looking at the footprint as well. It's not as clear on Bookmap, but you could see it very clear on the depth of market and a delta footprint chart. This is the low of day. Isn't that questionable? Like, it's very questionable. So there are actually buyers passively sitting on the bid, and there are also people selling into this. So imagine you're short at like 5280. Like just visualize yourself being short at 5280, and then visualize the market ripping up and now trading 9.5. Like you're fucked. And also, the buyers who got long here got rewarded. So it's all about effort versus reward. So that's what I saw. Like I said, ideally you want to be using some other order flow with Bookmap because it's way easier to see here. Like I just explained it. But I was watching all of them at the same time, right? Same thing, NASDAQ bouncing out of demand. So 935. I showed you guys my entry. I took the market long, 935. Market looked like this. This is where I saw that buying, these 80s. I showed you on the depth of market. So I got long in 935, like literally right here on this little candle here. My stop was 7.8. I was giving it room to breathe because I still thought this could develop. And then look, we break the low, we never hit my stop. This is why I gave it room to breathe, because I anticipated this would happen, that we keep breaking the lows. And the buying was still strong, right? So my stop never hit. Boom, I'm in long. Fast forward to the stupid mistake I made, though. I'm not happy with the way this played out. I left a lot of money on the table, so I was in long. And you're going to see this thing start to work out. So I updated it here. I said here, look at this. Another liquidity grab. They kept running the lows. And then I said either the selling's drying up at this low a day or someone's passively buying it. So like I showed you guys the depth of market at the 80s. The selling was drying up. NASDAQ was bouncing out of demand. It looked good. And if I show you guys Bookmap, look at the massive move up off of that. Remember, the 80s right here is what I showed you with all the aggressive selling. If I could pull it back up, just to show you how questionable it is. Look at this. This 80 right here is this low a day. Right, look, the 80s. Look at all that absorption. The market moves up. Look, sellers down here they're basically underwater. Market moves up. There's pressure on these sellers. They have to stop out. And there's a passive buyer down there absorbing all that selling. So I'm in long. Look, market moves up, aggressive at offer trades. And this is where I fuck up. So this really pissed me off, but I got out way before I wanted to. So you can see this is where I got long. I ended up getting out at the 8,650s. Basically what happened, and I explained it here. Here, I got pissed because instead of clicking sell stop to move my stop to break even, I clicked sell limit. So normally when you're in long and trading futures and you're in a long position, if you want to move your stop to break even, or in general, if you have a stop loss, you want to put a sell stop loss. A sell stop, it's called, not a sell limit. So I right clicked and I clicked sell limit instead of sell stop, and it just took me out at the current price, which was 8.6. And it was a complete mistake. I tried to move up my stop to break even, which is 8.1s. And I left 6 points on the table with that stupid execution error. It's my fault. You have to use sell stops. It's a rookie mistake. It still looks good. I said above 80, the dip should be bought up. Still would have been in long, all good. I had shit sleep last night, but it's not an excuse. It was just such a dumb mistake. And you could see we never traded back to my entry. This would have got nice continuation into the 9.2s. I left a lot of money on the table there. So, yeah, I was in this trade for about 17 minutes. And it worked out pretty immediately. I had a good stop loss. I really like my execution, but it was just a rookie mistake. I've never done this before, or it's been a while. I'm somewhat new to futures because I used to trade SPY options, but it's ridiculous to make a mistake like that. And yeah, we ended up getting that move up into 9.2. You can see I only realized 1.43 R when my target was at 5.25, and that would have triggered. So I only got 1.4 R out of that, which sucks. But I'm not upset because I know the way I trade is repeatable. Yeah, it sucks, but I could take a trade tomorrow, execute it really well. It's fine. It's not really luck in my opinion, so I don't get too upset at that because I know I have an edge and I could just take a good setup tomorrow. But yeah, it was just a very dumb mistake, and I showed you guys the tape down there. The main thing you want to take out of this though is the tape at the 80s. That was the telltale sign of that reversal. One more time. All that selling into the low day, and that red line is low day. It's very questionable, so that's a quick breakdown. I'm gonna upload it.